Hello and welcome to the next live Atelier Nekuzuki. Today we are working on sewing big bags. I'm just actually finishing up sorting out my kind of bin because I didn't get all of the webbing. Surprise, I didn't get all the webbing actually pinned into the bags, but I got the majority of it done, so I'm just going to sort out the ones that I haven't finished. They can obviously be sewn later. That is, oh my goodness, sorry, we live on actually a fairly busy road and that was probably fairly loud. Anyway, I'm just pulling the bags that I haven't finished pinning because I'm out of time. It's time to sew. I'm prepping for the Ancient Arts Yarn Pancake Breakfast on Saturday, July 15th, 2023. And I need big bags. So yeah, that's what I mean by it's time to sew. Because if I don't start it today, I will not get anything done for Saturday. Nothing like leaving it to the last minute, but this is how show prep always goes. I also still have all the make. Oh, there's the zipper for the pink bag. Oh, right, I'm missing the webbing for it, not the zipper. That's right. Anyway, I still have all the made glasses cases to finish as well, but that'll be fairly simple. That'll be fairly simple. And if you're looking for the live that I did on Saturday, that was super long, it will be coming up. I am going to edit it down though, because that was a really long live. And so basically I'm going to go through and piecemeal it a little bit, speed up some bits, slow down some other bits, cut out stuff that's just, it's like inane and not worth listening to. And then I'll get that posted as well. All right, let's move these out of the way. I finally figured out what I'm going to kind of do for shelves here, I think. I think I found some through Amazon, actually. If not, I'm going to go to IKEA and pick up some from there. Mostly because I want to get... So I've got my big, like, power bar in the back here that controls all of this. So I'm not constantly having to reach up to turn these lights on and off. They're just plugged into the surge bar. But I hate it sitting on my sewing desk. So what I need to do is get it actually... And there goes the ring light too. So it's going to be really dark. I need to actually get them up and out of the way. And so a shelf, I think, will help quite a bit. Oh, lovely. All right. Something must have happened to the cable for this. I knew I was going to need... Yeah, there we go. That's better than nothing. And that one is gone. Oh, my goodness. Okay. So we're going to use the warm light today. Anyway, it needs to be on to balance out the curtains being open. So we are going to start with one that's already mostly like half done, and then I will find its pair for its webbing afterwards. And let's get going. So what else are we doing? The kiddos are in childcare today. I got an extra day for my youngest now. And we're going over this bag because I know it looks like it's sewn in, but I actually missed the webbing on one side, and so it's been in timeout since last year. And so we're going to go over and re-sew the webbing again. Yeah, that's probably it right there. Anyways, the kiddos are in, my eldest is in summer camp now, so they are going all week when my husband is at work, which is going to give me basically right now it gives me an extra day of work, plus my youngest's nap time because they're still napping. They are working very hard on dropping that nap, but I'm going to try and preserve it actually over the summer. I was thinking that we should actually drop it back because they're getting really hard to put to bed. So we might still do that, but there we go. So now it's fixed. So I should have shown you the before. Like you could poke your finger through. If you've been watching my lives, you know that that's why this was in the pile. There we go. All right, so we're going to actually start here. Now these are getting finished a little bit different than I've done in the past. Usually I have sewn them together like that one was, but this time I'm not. I'm actually have left them apart because it'll be easier to top stitch. All right. And then when I have the dark top stitching in for these dark ones, here, snuggle on up, I will be going through and finishing off the knot bags that are in the dark stitching category as well, which they actually need an iron. So I need to clean my iron. I need to make a list of what I need to do over the next couple of days because it is kind of daunting. And that feels like the stitch needs to go up the rest of it. Yeah, that's better. All right. pull that pin. I need to find my pin bin. It's in the actual box with the stuff. I'll go back over and top stitch that other one. In this case, actually, as well, I can just go through. So this is zipper tape, which is awesome. It's something I didn't know existed until very recently. And I feel like when I started making bags, it was not as prevalent as it is now. But what's amazing about it for me is now I can just chain piece my zippers super fast. It reduces the cost of my zippers a bit, not much, once you consider like the labor involved in putting the zip ties on or zip pulls and stuff on. But the awesome part about the zip pulls is that I'm not stuck with that little zipper pull head. I actually got more of like a donut pull, so I'll show those when I actually get them out. Although I will be doing zip pulls probably later tonight. I'm hoping what I can do is I can get all the zippers and webbing sewn in right now, and then we can top stitch, and then I can finish the bottoms tonight. That's the goal, and then that would leave me with see, this is in the way. It's so useful because it does like allow me to just turn everything on, but it's just definitely not conducive to sewing chains, like just chain piecing. So let's pull this all the way here. Oh yeah, I should set my phone up to actually record as well. I don't know if you purchase off of Amazon or not. There has not been a lot of good deals on stuff I've been looking for. Although I did figure out that I've got a really nice mic for my iPhone from using it before for Vogue knitting and stuff like that. But it doesn't work with my laptop. And so let me just double check that. That's childcare. Okay. Make sure there's nothing going down that I need to pay attention to. Anyway, but it doesn't work on the laptop because it doesn't have like the connector. I probably could get a like proper connector for it and stuff like that. So it would need to be a lightning to headphone jack, funnily enough. Male lightning to female headphone jack, or male headphone jack as well. Anyway, connector isn't correct. And it also doesn't have any like setup to actually connect it to my laptop. And there are some other problems with it as well. So they've introduced a new version of it. But it is expensive. So I'm just trying to figure out what I'm going to do. It would be nice to have something I can use on the phone and the laptop. But realistically, I'm doing more work on the laptop right now than I am on the phone. Speaking of which, I need to set up the phone so I can get the shot in here. Because I always like for me, it's super ASMR to watch back the footage of me sewing from the throat of the sewing machine. So hopefully for viewers it is as well. All right, there we go. Go through. I know you gotta run a gauntlet of wires. Okay, let's see if I can set this up here without it taking too long. I should see if I can set it up this way. I need to actually get my pop socket back on this because that is one of the most useful things I've had on this phone. Oh, I know how to set this up. I already had it in a business card holder right here. Wonder if that'll work. It'll at least help not have it scatter everywhere. It gives it a little bit better base. Now it's lined up with the... There we go. Hey, that's looking good. All right, there we go. Move those a little bit out of the way. Okay, so so there's been some tech debates. Obviously, I thought I could get away without getting a new light. So I was like, hey, the ring light's still working. Let's save the money. But no, it looks like it's probably time to get a new light. Even just because it's like they are on sale, I think 25% off. So that's a pretty decent deal. All right, let's get that up. Chain piece this one in next. We got sheet. Oops. Okay, that's not gonna work. So let's do it like that. opened up the pin bin, and then I'm still sticking them in the thread catcher instead. So we had an adventurous night last night. Flynn got into some of my diabetic medication and, of course, ingested some of it. So he is currently still at the vet. He had to do an overnight stay. So it's a very expensive vacation for him away from the toddlers. And I feel absolutely wretched about it. But he has been up on our counters a significant amount recently. He's been acting out. And the kids were just absolute hooligans last night. I don't even know why. My eldest always has a rough transition back into the house. I think they miss us when they're at school. Makes total sense. But it just would not stop last night. Anyway, so I went to I have 2 different medications. I set the one down to get the other, and then got distracted by the kids. And of course, the cat ate the one that I had on the counter. I'm just like, dude, you're a jerk. So they say so far he's all healthy, which is awesome. And would much prefer that to any other outcome, obviously. It's why we went to the vet with him. The drawbacks to it with the diabetic medication are the same as basically humans. So if you're a healthy human without diabetes, taking a diabetic medication like this one, it's glycoside, it would be like potential for seizures and other nasty things. So like hypoglycemia, and the nasty things basically come from the hypoglycemia drop, which is low blood sugar. Which I always have to laugh about. That basically diabetes is hypoglycemia. It's not funny, but it does make me giggle. So we get to, so far, so good. We get to pick him up tonight. And basically it's a no news is good news situation. So I'm still waiting for the phone call, or no phone call. As long as I have no phone call, we get to go and pick him up. And then, so that's part of why I was trying to make the ring light work a little bit longer, is I'm like, that was an unexpected bill. We should really get pet insurance. But it's one of those things where you don't have it when you need it. And then when you think about doing it, it's like, oh, they're fine. They're healthy. But we'll definitely, I think it's time. Right. Actually, this just needs to move. There we go. Let's move this back here. This down here. And of course, Dahlia is super sad without him here because, well, she lost Remy, which technically they were bonded. They never acted like it, but I would believe it some days. And so she's been lonely and was like in the bed. She doesn't normally like being in the bed with the kids, and she was in the bed with the kids with us last night, and just, yeah. And of course, it's always the first. They were like, it's always when Dallas is away. So it's just that second set of eyes is missing, and everything goes to heck in a handbasket. Maybe not even a handbasket. Maybe like, I don't know what it would go to heck in. Anyway. All right, I'm just going to, actually I forgot, I'm going to post that I am live on Instagram, and then we'll continue sewing here. Okay, good. The story did post. No, not me. So I usually try and advertise it. When I don't have a scheduled stream, I just advertise it on Instagram. If I'm advertising or if I have a scheduled stream, I try and get into the newsletter. I will be sending out a whole newsletter with a calendar of events here soon. I just realized that mic wasn't in a good spot, so hopefully, I think this might be better. Hello. There we go. Yeah, so I try and do that. Let's see, where's my channel? And then we just are going to share, copy link. All right. And And what else is happening? So we went and we ran, of course, Stampede Road Race this past weekend, and Dallas got a PB. So he ran his half marathon in under 2 hours, which is freaking amazing. So proud of what he's been able to accomplish this year already. And that's PB over last year, so that he's improved significantly. I can't remember the exact amount of time, but it was really good. And then I went and ran my second best 10K. And what that means is that my best 10K was when I was at my peak physical fitness level before kids. So June 2019, I ran a 10K in 117 and some change. In May, I ran it in 133 and some change, which I'm very proud of because that was the Rocky Mountain Soap Company run. And that course, I was running it right after I got off the plane from Japan, which doesn't help anything. And then second, it's hilly. It's hilly AF. Oh my goodness, it almost killed me. So for the Rocky Mountain Soap Company, the main reason that I run it is for the swag and for the brunch that they serve. In which case, all I ever need to run there is the 5K. I'm not doing the 10K there ever again. I don't think I'll ever actually go above the 5K there because, again, I'm just running it for the stuff, not the actual run, really. I guess it is the run, but not the prestige of the run. I'm running it for the things. And the event of that run is so good. It's so good. So that one I'll be running the 5K on. Anyway, that was the 10:33. And then on Sunday, I actually got my second PB, or second best PB, which I dropped my time about 4 minutes. So I ran the Stampede Road Race in about 129 and change. And I'm very proud of that because it has been, part of this was I think it probably could have been even faster, but I actually kept my pace more moderate at the beginning. So I didn't power out the end, which actually helped significantly. I think at this point I would be able to run a half marathon. I don't think my body would be very pleased with it, but I could do it physically. We're still questioning whether I can do the marathon or not. I'm still questioning whether I can do the marathon or not, but I still have about 5.5 months worth of training left before we go run it. So, and then words and meanings. Yeah, so I'm really proud of that. I'm very proud that I dropped it by 4 minutes. Now, part of that is definitely the course. Part of that is conditioning. There's so many different factors. Part of that is just the fact that I hadn't just gone off a plane. However, we did go down to Stampede on Friday, and I did carry a 35-pound toddler around the grounds for most of it because they were not cooperating, the youngest. We went and saw the chuck wagon, so Friday was a lot of fun. It was actually the perfect amount of time down on the grounds for us because it's not like we haven't been to Stampede before. But we went down and basically we went for our run. We had to grab some stuff from home. I had a sale on Facebook Marketplace of I was selling off an IKEA chair. And just needed out. So I was like, yes, we will jump on this. And basically it paid for our mini donuts at Stampede. So that's perfect. And anyway, I don't know why I'm telling you that. It really doesn't matter. But we loaded up some extra stuff. We grabbed actually PJs for the kids because we are at the point in our childhood journey where they will fall asleep in their car seats now. And we can just transfer them. And it is life-changing. So we brought their PJs so that we could just do that. I didn't know if it would actually happen. But I'm better to be prepared and have all their stuff just in case it does happen. And lo and behold, we got in the Jeep and they fell asleep, I think, within about 10 minutes. So anyway, so we dropped them off at childcare. We went for our run, came home, grabbed some stuff, and then we went down to the grounds. We were there we went down on the train. And we're there at about, 11:15, 11:20. We got day seats for the truck wagon races and grandstand. We did not stay for the grandstand this year. We're ambivalent about it. Fireworks are good, but it's also really nice to get off the grounds, especially with the age of the kids. We've got toddlers. They won't know the difference right now. When they're a little bit older, we'll stay for the grandstand. But we're there for the truck wagon races for me, really. Anyway, we got day seats. And then Dallas and I went and we did like Midway food and went and got our beers and did our wander around Western Oasis and the arts and craft exhibit. And then what did we do? That was pretty much it. We went and got mini donuts from Ogopogo. If you're in the Calgary area and you want amazing mini donuts during Stampede, Ogopogo is the best. So I got the Boston cream ones. They're like super fancy mini donuts, but they're so delicious. And they it's like there's very few things I wanted at Stampede, but I wanted a corn dog and I wanted mini donuts. I also wanted ice cream, but we skipped ice cream, which is fine. And yeah, so I had the Boston cream. Basically, the mini donuts themselves are delicious, and then they've got those toppings on them, and they're just so good. I know that there's the traditional mini donuts, but I don't know. I don't need a full bucket of mini donuts. I'd much prefer to have better mini donuts versus better quality over quantity for me. Because of my diabetes, obviously I can't eat a lot. Now, there are a lot of sweet stuff like that. And Dallas got pierogies from the pierogi food truck. They got teriyaki chicken pierogies, and they were also very good. It was super satisfying after the run. And walking around the grounds and stuff like that, it was perfect because we split both of them and got kind of that nice flavor kick of both items without having to consume both items ourselves. So we did that, and then we left and got the kids from childcare a little bit early, and then we actually went back down to the grounds, obviously because we had chuck wagon tickets. So we went and did the barns with them. My eldest really liked the horses, so that was fun. The barns are always better with kids, less judgment on people, less people thinking you're going to steal their kids, I guess. But yeah, so the eldest really liked the horses, and then we went and got them food. The eldest's favorite thing was pizza, they said. And then we went and saw the chuck wagon races. Now the youngest is still kind of on the edge of being able to sit still for chuck wagon races. So Dallas and the youngest went and wandered the tarmac mostly, which works. And then the eldest and me sat down and watched chuck wagons together. When they got tired, we swapped, and then we got them fries because they were hungry again. Makes sense, they're at childcare, so they're always hungrier after childcare. And that helps settle them in their seats as well. There's a couple new rookies, which is hilarious to say because when you think rookie, it's they're hockey rookies, and it's no. These are guys in their mid-30s, early 40s sort of rookies. This is not necessarily a young sport. I think Kelly Sutherland was one of the youngest to win the championship, and I can't remember what age he was. He also won the most, I think, on that track. So anyway, but they've also been setting some, the track is fast this year. So they've been setting some speed records, which is really cool. And yeah, apparently it's been a good year. I haven't had a chance to actually watch it again since. Again, I thought last night I'd be able to sit down and kind of watch as I was putting the kids down to bed, but the cat had other plans, obviously. And then over the weekend and stuff like that, it just wasn't in the cards really. So might try again tonight. I'm supposed to pick the cat up around 8. The live stream, I think, starts around 8:30. So I'll probably try to get on and it depends if we're home or not. Or I might try to get on for at least the last few heats because what they do is they seed them, which means they put them in the races to begin with based on their current standings in the WPCA, which is the World Professional Chuck Wagon Association. And then, so they're seeded based on their results from that, and then they take their results from the first 4 nights of racing and they reseed them. So that means that they match them up based on their aggregate time or their added up time over the first 4 nights of racing. And so they basically what they want to do is they want to match their fast aggregate racers to their other fast aggregate racers. So if you're down in Heat 1 on the first night, or Heat 2, which some of the veterans was very interesting. They must not have been having a very good season. Then you could easily move up into whatever heat you're supposed to be against the other racers. Now, I think this might be aggregate without penalties, but I would need to read up on that. I haven't looked that up recently. And they change the rules consistently for safety's sake as well. So what that would mean is like, if it's aggregate without penalties, it would be stuff like they'll take the penalties out for knocking over a barrel or an outrider knocking over a barrel. Oops. So an outrider knocking over a barrel is 2 seconds, and a wagon knocking over a barrel is 5 seconds. And so you might have a really fast running time, but you you could be in first, and just an outrider knocking over a barrel is too close. So I think what they do when they do the seed, at least, is they take out those penalties and go on race time minus penalties. Their aggregate winner, which they're the one who wins truck and stuff at the end of the 10 days, that includes those penalties, because you got to be fast and you got to be safe. That's what the penalties are for. I love the chuck wagon races. They are my favorite sport, although I really only watch Scribd. I need to go and actually watch some different races. We're going to be up in Dawson Creek. Hello? Oops. We're going to be up in Dawson Creek in a couple weeks, and we're actually going to miss the Dawson Creek races by like 3 weeks, which we couldn't have made anyway because of Dallas's work schedule. But I'm like, of course, the one time we're going up to Dawson and we miss it. And not even by that much. So I need to I think there's some races actually around here that are closer to home over the summer. So I think maybe we'll try and get to those instead. I think there's some up at it's called Century Downs. It's just outside, if you're familiar with the area. It's just outside of Cross Iron Mills, actually. So, all right. These zippers are actually going very quickly. I am enjoying this process right now. I'm not going to jinx myself and say what I'm thinking, but just know I'm very pleased right now. So this is all fabric from my trip to Japan in November. I have not even had a chance. Well, okay, I filmed the preview of the May fabrics, and I actually got the wholesaler catalog together, which is 2 good steps, but I haven't been able to do anything beyond that. What the next step will be is actually washing the fabrics, and then drying the fabrics, and then ironing the fabrics. And that just takes too much time when I'm in show prep, which is a good indicator that I've been whiffling and waffling about when we would go back to Japan with the kids. It does depend if my in-laws, we want to invite them to see if they want to come. I would love to show my mother-in-law my university that I went to. But words escape me right now. Oh, it would depend. That would also sway the timing basically as debating between November and May. I am leaning more towards November because I think it'll be quieter, but I don't know. We'll see. If my in-laws come, I think would probably go in May. It's a little bit more consistently nice weather, although it was really busy. So I think we might lean towards November anyway. But why this is important in the terms of fabric is that it would allow me time to actually get it into production before show season. And because basically I'm in show season right now, and I'm still only working with November fabrics. So there's that. I do have some special fabrics coming up that are from May, and I will talk about them once some decisions are made about what's happening with them, which is a terrible tease, but that's just where we're sitting at right now. I also wanted to make sure that I get the bunny fabrics in production for fear of the rabbit. So that's what we're working on right now. We've got some good bunnies in a lot of different colors. And I'm focusing on big bags because I am low on stock on everything, but I'm particularly low on stock on big bags. So, and these prints lend themselves to this larger format bag the best. I think actually I think I only have 1 or 2 more to sew this side down on, and then we will, yeah, sweet. Look at how quick we've been going. Got 2 more, guys. Awesome. All right, which means that we've only been sewing for half an hour. Totally doable to be able to get the zippers and probably all of the top stitching done today. Although I just realized that one big flaw in the plan here is I'm going to have to swap back and forth. Oh, no, I can. No, never mind. I was like, I'm going to have to swap back and forth to do the top stitching with the dark thread, and that's inefficient. But I don't. I can sew both sides of the zipper first. So. Sorry, recording. Eek. Get that back. I think I'll probably just record this side of the zippers, and then I'll record some of the top stitching, and then I'll record some of the actual sewing. But then I don't kill my battery off completely, because that is totally possible to do. And I don't have a plug-in for it right now, so I need to almost get a second wireless charger down, like a wireless charging mat or something down here, or puck. That's what I need to do. Because right now, the wireless stand doesn't work, and I would prefer not to have too many other wires around on the desk. All right, come on. It's the last bag. You can do it. That one looked bent, but it's not. All right. Sweet. Look at us go. All right. Whoops. Jeez. This poor phone. All right. Now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to pull it down and through from underneath and plop it in the bin, because then we'll work from this end back, because that's how it's stacked up on the desk right now. So what I have to do is get under here. Now everything's, as you can see, chain pieced together. Oops. All the zippers are installed. Everybody's mostly happy. All right. What are you caught on? Fun stuff. It's not a big deal if I don't get it in order. Oh, actually, if I just pull up, I probably will be better off. There we go. So if you're in the Calgary area, I hope you're having fun Stampede. If you participate in Stampede, if you don't, I hope you're having a fantastic few days. It's definitely cooled down, which is nice. And actually, the rain has been really good. Cochrane has gotten so lush recently. Super green out. I was out for my run this morning, and it was very nice. Reminded me of why I prefer running outside, actually, versus running inside. Although I am definitely a mostly fair weather runner. I do not run in the ice mostly. The cold, I'll probably run a bit more in the cold this year. But the main thing is the ice. I don't need to slip and break my ankle again. That's what I figured. Oh, that one missed the freaking handle again. Yeah. All right, so we're going to go back over this while I'm actually still here. And then I will show you what we're going to do with the webbing next. I thought that might be the case. So this is the one drawback sometimes to the chain piecing, is that it can actually make you skip, just because it's there was so much fabric at the back of the machine that sometimes it makes it crumple in a weird way. Oh yeah, you can see how far off that line was. It's a good 1/4 inch actually. All right, let's just sew straight across. Make sure everything's nice and tight and down. There we go. All right, so now we should be good. Yeah, this is what happens when quality control inspectors out of the building. Poor little man. All right, so we're going to fold. These get top stitched down this direction instead of actually, they're not top stitched out of the way. I top stitched them down because it helps you be able to open the bag one-handed if you need to. And so what I do is I pin down these webbing straps. And then we're going to grab the next piece. So there's a piece of lining, there's a piece of exterior, and then there's the webbing piece and the interfacing. And then we're going to pin it all together on here. So with the first webbing pieces, I always make sure that I measure them in from the exterior. Most people do line everything up centered. I don't have time for that. That's not the case. Why I do it this way is just because that's how my brain worked out the easiest, in that I could just measure in from the exteriors. That means that not all the big bags are exactly the same, but what the most important thing is now is I will line up these exterior webbings to the same distance. Here, I'm going to snug you up a bit so you can see this a bit better. I'm going to turn the bin. I just realized that really I'm talking and you're not able to see most of this. Hi. All right. So what we do now, or what I do now, this is how I do it. I'm going to reopen the window because I think we're going to have a little bit less traffic. I don't know why I think that, but my gut says so, I guess. Okay. I need my, sorry. I just knocked off the ruler I actually need. The handy 1x6 ruler. And then we're going to grab, oh yeah, I already grabbed the pieces. So here's the exterior piece. And then what did I do with the webbing? It was seriously right here just a moment ago. Oh my goodness. Anyway, what I typically do, I want this capybara. Did it slip when I put it in the bin? It must have. There we go. There it is. All right, so I line up the exterior here, interior as well. Actually, no, we just need the exterior. We're good. So I have the interior here with the interfacing. I have the exterior, and then we're going to take the ruler and measure out the depth that I need for the actual webbing above the zipper coil, because that's how I measure it, to make sure, I always make sure that there's extra above the coil, because it just prevents fraying as easily and stuff like that. It gives me a little bit more room to work with in case it does slip, and that'll match it up when I'm actually sewing it as well. So it should make the handles the same length or extremely close, like negligibly noticeable. All right, so I had our pin those down. Now we're going to take the pin and actually pop the pin back through again. And they're lined up. So this will square up the bag's handles with the bag handles so that they match. And then we go down, we fold, and we fold so that the handle is for sure not kinked, or at least it is in the right direction. It's not twisted. And then we're going to do the same thing. We'll go up to the line that I want for my excess above the zipper coil. I'm going to take the pin it through the webbing. Now, could I baste these? 100%. Am I going to? No, we're just going to go in and sew them again. And if I don't catch them, I don't catch them. As you saw, that's super easy to fix. All right. Now we're going to do this. And we're good to go. Now, I do have to do that with all of these. Typically, I would go through and actually do them all at once. Do I feel like doing that today? Not really. Although I probably should, because it was so fast to chain piece everything. And it will actually be faster to pin these in than it is to do the first side, because the first side is so fiddly with the exterior measurement that I have to do. All right, let's just get this set up. And then we'll go through and we'll do the rest. So, because what I want to do is I want to show you what actually happens here. All right. And this is where sewing takes so much time, especially with the industrial machine. The sewing doesn't actually take the time. It's all the prep and like in between steps for sure. Oh, that is a nice breeze on the legs. Why is my sewing chair is acting up today, and I don't know why. All right. Double check and make sure that, ow. Ah. All right, double check and make sure. There we go. So see, it's nice and lined up at the top there. So they'll be even, and then they'll be even when you're actually holding the tote bag. Nice and easy peasy. We'll go through and we'll top stitch this afterwards. It got caught. Just make sure that's actually caught on the inside. And then this is where I'm hoping there's a little bit of time saving, is we're going to go through and we'll top stitch it when it's open like this. Versus being closed, which is what I've been doing in the past. Now, could I close it right now? 100%. I'm not going to. And then, so we're going to after this, we're going to top stitch this. And then we will sew these interior exteriors together. Actually, it's going to be super fast because I can just do like a full seam around the whole thing. Then we will box it, sew the box corners, and turn it. And then it's done. So that is a big bag. All right, let's go through, and I don't actually have room on my table behind me because it's full of glasses cases. So we're just going to do all of the second webbing pin here. I'm going to have a drink of water, so I'm going to mute myself for just a moment. I used to watch podcasters, and they would eat and drink on their podcast, and I actually stopped watching them because of it. It's like my number one thing that I absolutely cannot stand, and I am going to stop the recording on. Oh, the phone wasn't recording anyway. Well, look at that. Where did you stop? You stopped on the last bag. Sweet. Okay, so that's good. All right, let's actually set it up this way and this way. And then it can record me pinning this stuff in. My zipper jig is in the way. It's like, hey, zipper jig. Although that's cool to know that I could do it that way and actually put the zippers on. We'll do that later. There we go. All right. Hi, you can see the computer. Let's scooch this along. All right. So here, trim up this one. So now could I actually sew these as I go? 100%. But like I said, this way, like you saw how quick that was to just zip the zippers through. So that's what we're aiming for by doing the chain piecing on both sides. Now this one was caught all the way across. We're good. I'm going to, was it caught there? That looks like it could actually use a little bit more. Just on the webbing right there. Yeah. There we go. Could I be using the zipper foot as well? Yes, that would probably help, but there goes that very loud chuck again. Zipper foot might help, but at the same time, it's like, then I don't have to swap it out constantly. All right, that wasn't much, but it was probably about 1/8 of an inch, and so it made the handle just a little bit sturdier. This is the surfing cats with the cat getting taken by the octopus arm, or taco. Octopus in Japanese is taco. My husband doesn't speak a lot of Japanese, but he knows taco and otaku, and occasionally they get mixed up, and then he calls the octopus the honorable octopus, because typically when you add O to the front of taco, or to a word, you end up with a it makes it more honorable. So it's let's say otaku, which is honorable octopus, and I love it. So otaku is an anime lover to the extreme, basically. Not quite hikimori, which is a shut-in, but definitely more than average. Maybe not to an extreme, but more than average. There we go. That's done up. All right, so we're going to get this in here like that. And we're going to pop it here. Then we're going to get its handle, which I set here, thankfully. And then we're going to pin this onto the big bag. So with all these zippers already sewn in, we can get all the webbing for the second side done. And I'm hoping that I'll be able to get this pinned in and sewn during this live stream. And then after that step will be the top stitching, body stitching, and then we'll be going into actually doing the boxing and the turning. So I may or may not work off camera tonight. I'm not 100% sure. Again, it's basically the evening streams are going to be impromptu. Just depending on how the kiddos feel. All right, and then I think I've got probably enough footage on the camera for this that I'll pause it. So basically, I'm compiling footage outside of live footage that I can use for videos in a shorter format, basically. This one may not be that good, so we'll see. All right, so there we go. Stop that. Lock it and put it down here. Okay, and then I'll make sure that this is straight when I actually sew it. And actually, I'm going to say screw it and sew it so that it's done, because then it's out of the way. It's out of the bin. It's off the back table, all of that. So let's just actually, no, stick to the plan. Stick to the plan. The plan is that I'm going to pin all of these to these bags, and then I will sew them because the chain sewing is faster. Chain piecing. So all the bags are down in the bin right now. I'm just pulling out of there. And they're matched up to their counterparts on the back table because that was the direction or the sequence we sewed them in just a few minutes ago. This is really cute bunny fabric. Trying to get some of the bunny fabrics into, or rabbit fabrics into production before the end of the year, since it's the year of the rabbit. And right now what I'm doing is lining up the interior and exterior with the interfacing and all the pieces so that we can sew in the zipper on the second side. All right. Should have paired these up when I was actually doing like the interiors to the interfacing. I was doing this the other day, but I didn't think about it. So we're doing it now. Better late than never. Okay. And this has to go down here. And this has to go in here like that. So. There we go. Now, sometimes I pin this down. I'm going to actually turn this around and see if that's easier as well. This would be easier if I was working on my table, but my table is currently packed with many glasses cases and big bags that I haven't sewn yet. Which means I probably need to get one more bin for like underneath. Actually, I just need to wash the pocket fabric in the bin that's already underneath there. And so I can throw the works in progress off the table into the bin as I finish them. Although I need some like smaller ones for like smaller works in progress, like the May glasses case. So that I can just like throw them in there as I get to the point where they're at right now. So the point the May glasses cases are at right now is they need the final logo still. And then they need the last piece of their snaps. So I'll be working on those tomorrow, hopefully. My eldest is at summer camp, but my youngest still naps. So I think I will be doing that while the youngest naps. And then, or at least I'll be doing this. Maybe what I'll do is I will redesign the logo tonight while they're playing before bed. Then I'll get all the logos cut and I will put them in tomorrow, like install the logos. And then, words. And then I'll put the magnetic snaps in them on Friday. Yeah, that'll work. Because I want, obviously, with summer being here, Eyeglass cases or glasses cases, because I'm mostly saying they're for those other ones, sunglasses. Having glasses cases for like a Stampede breakfast would be a smart idea. Also, like, so the main idea I'm having for the glass cases is that they're for like non-prescription sunglasses and non-prescription reading glasses, because folks in the past have asked me for glasses cases, and so here we go, glasses cases that I finally like. The patterns I saw before were very dated and just not to my tastes or my skill, like my sewing level. I want something a little bit more what this is. It's actually exactly what I wanted. All right, that did not get caught. So we'll slow that down again. Anyway, we'll have those ready for Saturday though, even if I'm finishing them Friday night before I go. Actually, it's a good reminder that I need to pack. It's just in Calgary, but I need to like get everything together and into the truck. And I also have to figure out how I'm doing what kind of stands and stuff I'm doing and what's available for me this time. Oh, there's the bobbin. Come here, Scribd. We gotta do the bobbin. The bobbin is empty. We're gonna swap the bobbin out of its case like that. New bobbin in. Set it into the bobbin itself. Zip. And pop it in. Pull bobbin thread out. And there we go. Okay. And set this bobbin up to wind, because if I don't, I'll forget and we will be in trouble. Well, we won't be in trouble, but it is pain to not have it done. All right, let's restart over the webbing here. Set up the bobbin to actually wind. And it's not winding because it didn't get enough thread on it before it broke. Yay. Okay, come here, thread. And if you're curious, I am working on a Juki DDL 8100E. I purchased it through Mason Sewing Machine in Vancouver, British Columbia. I tried to find a supplier in Alberta. The one in Edmonton said you should have someone closer to you to buy a machine from. So I'm like, okay. And the one that I contacted in Calgary never got back to me. So I went with the person who was like, yes, I will take your money. And they've treated me really well. So part of this that I wanted to do is I wanted to be able to go in and actually try the machine, make sure that it wasn't too intimidating, because the industrial machine is significantly faster than a domestic, which is part of what I wanted. It also helped professionalize my bags in a way that I would never have been able to do on a domestic machine. Maybe on like a heavy duty or something. I was wanting to get something like this. I didn't need a bunch of different stitches. I just need straight stitch, blah, 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 all that. So anyway, so yeah, it's from out of Mason Sewing Machine. I dealt with Mark. I don't know if he's an owner or like main salesperson or what, but he was very knowledgeable. Let me try the sewing machine, and then I ordered and got it shipped to a shipping depot in Calgary. Picked it up there, and brought it home. And then when we moved, we had movers move it. Because I was kind of like, there is no way I want to move that out of the basement. Again, we moved it into the basement. I'm not moving it out of the basement, though. Because we moved it into the basement at the beginning of 2019 before I was pregnant. So I didn't really want to move it out of the basement after 2 kids and a broken ankle. Those poor movers. I gave them a very detailed list, but I don't know if anyone quite knew what they were in for when they moved our house. Because of course I have a bunch of calyx to store the fabric. And like my husband and I and friends and family moved like the majority of the house, like in like the bits. The movers were really only there for the furniture, and it still took them, they gave us an estimate of 4.5 hours, and it took them 10. And the guy at the end, why I think he was asking is I'm pretty sure he was like, why are you like, you're going to pay us basically, right? Which is like, yes, you have saved us so much trouble. That's why we hired you. But yeah, he was like, why was there such a difference in the estimate versus like the actual time? And I'm like, I don't know, because you saw, like I gave them an extremely detailed list. And they were not slow. They were hustling as hard as they could go too. Like nothing against them for their work ethic, that's for sure. But just thinking about that, I'm like, honestly, it's like that probably would have taken us like 30 hours to move if we hadn't had movers. So I was very, very, very happy for it. So if you can afford to get a mover, do it. It is so worth it. It's not even funny. All right, so that's got that. That's got to fold up. Just tick. Are you lined up on your edges? You're lined up on one edge for sure. This one oh no, you are, both edges. Perfect. So I'm just kind of putting these on the chair back behind the computer. If it gets too full on the back of the chair, I will sew some more. I am very curious how many bags we have, so we're going to count. Got 1, 2, 3. I'm just going to trim their threads right now because then I can just pull them up. And that'll help me count them. 3, 4, 5. Now, some of these are, I know I said I had around 39, 6, but some of them didn't make the cut because I'm just like, if I don't start sewing, I'm not going to get anything done. So they'll go into the next round for Knit City. I think that's 7, 8, 9, 10. I've got some really good options for you guys, so I'm excited to show you. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 left to do. 16 and 17. Sweet. That's not bad at all. I don't know how I missed half them, but apparently I did. I don't know how I went from 39 to 17. And there's only like 4 or 5 on the back of the chair. Oh well. That is what it is. This is going to be such a happy bag. So I went with that nice gold. Oh yeah. I didn't sew the pink version of this one. Weird. Where did it go? Okay. Maybe it's still on the cutting table. Okay. Well, the dark version's done, so that's good. I don't know. Some days I swear, like, it's a good thing my head is screwed onto my body, or else, well, I hope it's screwed onto my body. Some days even that's questionable. Okay. Lining, interfacing, bag. Shaka shaka. I'm having lots of rain here in Cochrane. It's been really nice. I think I talked about this a little bit earlier. It's like when I was out for my run, it was just so green. Oh yeah, I did talk about that because I was like, I'm a fair weather runner, and I am such a fair weather runner. Although it was starting to like pitter patter this morning, a little bit of rain. And it was refreshing. I was so happy with it. It felt so good. I'm also getting faster, which always helps with like, oh yeah, I don't want to do that yet. But anyway, I'm getting faster, which helps just like motivate me to train more, which is good because I still have quite a bit of training ahead of me. Telling Dallas we're going to do a couple dry months because to get faster, we need to lose some weight. I still need to lose some baby weight. I've got about 16 pounds to go before I'm back down to where I was pre-kiddos, and which isn't bad. I've lost about 20 pounds in the last year. And yes, it is something to celebrate for me with diabetes and stuff like that. It does help control the symptoms significantly. Anyway, but we're going to do a couple dry months here and there just because that is like a really easy way to cut calories. And like between the drinks themselves and then the munchies afterwards, it's not as bad as like, well, I don't know. I've never smoked weed. But it wouldn't be as bad as pot as far as I can tell. But it's definitely like you have less inhibitions with food around alcohol. At least that's what I find. I always get hungry and crave like junk food too. So like, or non-nutrient dense food. Time and place for all foods. But what I mean by that is like I'll be craving like chips or something like that, which when you're trying to calorie cut, few is fine, but a bunch is not. And when I have some alcohol in my system, I always want like the full bag. Anyway, we're gonna cut alcohol for all of August up through Knit City, because I'm not giving up my celebratory drinks at Knit City. And then we will cut again, I think, in October or something like through like, I think it's like, we figure mid-October through to Christmas, basically. And then we'll be running at the beginning of January, so that's not bad. We won't be drinking between Christmas and New Year's. Dallas works New Year's anyway, so it's not like we're going out and partying that night. But this whole long-winded story is wrapping up to say that I have already been daydreaming about my cocktails that I'm going to have after the races in Florida. In part because, so we own timeshare down at Disney, at the Polynesian through the DVC program. And it's the Polynesian has Trader Sam's, which is basically its tiki bar on site. And so I've been daydreaming about the tiki bar drinks that I could get and getting super excited about them. I would be super excited about them, whether they were celebratory drinks or not, because they're so good. And the atmosphere of the tiki bar is so good too. That's one of the big things, is the atmosphere is so good. But yeah, so I was looking at their menu the other day. I was looking at the menu at the Polynesian for their like mobile orders and stuff like that too, for breakfasts and desserts specifically. And I'm super excited because they've got some new stuff on their menu that I want to try. And since I'm running, I won't have to worry. And like walking around the parks, I won't have to worry about my sugars as much either. Because our Disney trips, whether we're running or not, are super active. All right. That's enough talk about food and diets. It's not a diet. We've been making a concerted effort to like not, like we're calorie counting, but it's mostly shifting our diet away from like a lot of the ultra processed foods and more towards the whole foods. So like eat our veggies like you should, sort of stuff. And sustainable, because in the past it has not been sustainable. Obviously we bounced around in weight a little bit. And just trying to form some healthier food habits. Not healthier, nutrient dense again. I still want my potato chips. Although out of all the things I eat, it's surprising how much potato chips actually spike my sugars. So I don't eat them very often as it is. Which is probably why I think I'm craving the salt. So I'll have to figure out a way to get some good salt intake here. Pepperoni sticks are usually a good option too, because they've got some protein in them. And that helps slow down food intake for me as a diabetic as well. Those sugar spikes. All right, we're on to cranes. I know I just counted how many bags I had left, and I can't remember how many I've done since then. I think there's about 15 left. So right now I'm just working through to get the webbing pinned onto the exterior of the bag. And having a live stream of consciousness discussion. I think I'll probably stream until about 2 p.m. my time, and I'll take a little bit of a break, and then I'll come back and do another hour or so before I have to pick kiddos up from childcare. Oh my goodness, this fabric looks even better as a bag than it did raw, I guess. Ugh. So excited. Some of these are going to be so freaking spectacular. Okay. That's not good. That was scissors on the ground. Okay, let's get the next lining in here with the interfacing. Yeah, because 2 o'clock will put me. Easy. have my window open so I get some fresh air. But obviously, we have some heavy truck traffic behind us right now. They are doing a massive road construction on Highway 1A and 22, and that has involved some road closures where access to like some industrial facilities to the north of us have obviously been affected, and so there's been a lot more heavy truck traffic recently. I think it'll probably change up a little bit once like the construction is actually done on the highway, but it hasn't been too bad. It is funny though, because we went and looked at houses. We started looking for houses in 2020 because we got kind of a kick in the butt because a house just down from Dallas's parents went up for sale. And we looked at it and we looked at the price and we went, okay, it's time to start looking. And one of the houses we looked at, it was spectacular, backed onto a pond up in one of the bigger communities here. Was within our price range. It was awesome. The basement was walkout, like catio, hot tub, so good. And the detractor for it though was that it was just off of kind of an intersection, a three-way stop intersection. And so we didn't move on it. I wish we had. It's like my one regret sort of thing when we're looking for houses. And so come 2022, we in retrospect, we probably weren't ready to move in 2020. It would have been very interesting to move in 2020, I guess. This would have been between the waves in Alberta. So this was like, we started looking in after my eldest was born. So in like June, July. Anyway, sheep. Okay, good. But that was the detractor, was that there was this three-way intersection behind us. And now we're like living on a main, not quite main, but there's a highway behind us. And there's a decently trafficked thoroughfare as well. And it's just like, if that was the reason for not moving into the other house, then we are not in a much better situation here. We do have a far better view of the mountains here. I think that would actually have been the big thing about the other location that we looked at in 2020. Was that there was not really a very good mountain view. But I laugh about it once in a while. It's like, really, that's yeah. It did actually go up for sale. This house that I was just talking about, that I was like, oh my goodness, I still daydream about it sometimes. It was up for sale when we were looking to buy again in 2022, but it was out of our price range already. So all right, that one needed the webbing reset because it wasn't fully installed. But there's the sheep. Absolutely spectacular. I'm so excited. I'm excited for so many of these fabrics. Like, it's really funny. Okay. Where did your webbing go? Did I pilfer it for something else? Probably. There's a piece. What am I doing? I'm matching up the interfacing. That's what I'm doing. Yeah, and actually on the subject of Flynn. So Flynn got up on the counters, got some meds. I'm going to go get, he got some diabetic medication and then ended up in the vet overnight. So he's still there. We have a tentative discharge time of 8 p.m. And I'm going to go get, he's been up on the counters so much recently. He's like pushing his boundaries and trying to figure out where they are again, which is partly because we're in a new house. And I think partly because we're also, he's just at that age. He's having another social shift. At least that's what Caroline from Ancient Arts Yarn has told me. And she's worked with a lot of cats, so I'm going to believe her. Anyway, I think he's just trying to push his boundaries. So we're going to set up, there's a hissing can called Scat. And basically what happens is it's motion censored. Set it on the counter, and if it detects the cat, it hisses at them. So I'm going to go get one of those and set it up tonight as well, because honestly, he's been like all over our stove, which it's got like the electronic touch panel on top, and obviously up getting medication. And super bold about it too. Like, he wasn't being sneaky about this. He was like up on the counter while I was sitting there, like at the kitchen table. Yesterday was just an absolute poop show. So usually it's either the kids or the cats, but apparently yesterday it was just both. It was just chaos. And again, of course, it always happens when Dallas is gone. So I don't know. All right, comma. There we go. I'm super excited for this pop-up with Ancient Arts Yarn, though, on Saturday. It's going to be really good. I'm excited for pancakes. I love pancake breakfasts. And actually, that's one of the best things about Stampede Road Race, is that they've got an amazing pancake breakfast. And their sausages this year were, like, so good. So I've already got the dates for the next 2 runs in the calendar so that Dallas is home for them, so we'll definitely be doing that one. It's one of my favorite ones. It is, so far, it is my favorite one. It's at a good time of year. It's at the right time of day, so it's not too hot. What other? It's a good atmosphere. It's got a half K or a 5, a 10, and a half marathon for like all levels. It's got kid races, so we're gonna put our kids in the races next year. Pancake breakfast at the end. Oh my goodness, this one missed too. Okay, well, here we go. I am listening to my chair squeak the whole time I'm like doing this, and I'm like, oh, I need to oil it. So maybe on my break I'll oil my chair and make sure that's not like sounding like a squeaky wheel, which is what it is right now. All right, there we go. This bag will be much happier with its webbing installed correctly. So now we'll flip it back out, make sure that it did actually get caught that time. Yep. And then while we've got it up, we'll get the interior and the interfacing plunked together here. Like this. Like that. And that still didn't catch it. Oh my goodness, right there. We're going to actually have to seam rip that. Oh, I need a new seam ripper. That's right, I broke it. Okay. Where didn't it catch? Didn't catch. I should have just pinned it while I was on the front. Oh, it's very minimal. So it's just after the actual thing. Okay. All right, let's try and catch that. We'll start over the webbing again. Oh, yeah, look at that. Wowee, I really messed up that seam. Okay, so this is going to be triple stitched, which means that it'll be extra strong. We're going to actually run it right from the end, just for some continuity, because apparently that's needed right now. Also tells me that once I'm done actually swapping everything and getting the next set of webbing pinned in, I'm going to go have a break quick, and I'll come back to sewing the other side in. There we go. Now it's all stitched down. There's no lining showing through. Perfect. Some days. Okay. Doop. Doop. Like this. All right, there we go. I have to be down to around 12 bags right now anyway. So that'll actually work. That'll be about an hour and a half to 2 hours. If you're looking for the live stream that I did on Saturday, which was 4 hours, or darn near close, I'm actually going to be editing that down, speeding up some areas, because there's a lot of very repetitive stuff, very repetitive stories. I was bored with myself. So I'm going to cut it down and speed up some areas where it's like very repetitive. I will show the zipper color picking. I will probably actually clip that out and post it as a short video as well if you don't want to like watch me cut interfacing and stuff. But like it was a lot. I was very tired by the end. I needed actually to probably take a break and do a snack in the middle, same as what I'm going to do today. But I didn't have an opportunity really because I was just like, let's just go and do this. And that was a mistake. So next time what I will do is I'll probably actually do 2 streams, both 2-hour streams. And then I will just like, they'll just be 2 different streams with different subjects kind of what we're going to be doing. Because obviously I also had to like move the laptop around, which if you're motion sick, that doesn't really work for you. And live and learn. I didn't know. Now I do. All right. This one is so good. I'm so happy with like how this color came together. Like that is very nice. So this is the liner fabric. So you won't see that when it's actually, well, when it's closed at least. You'll see it when it's open, obviously. But it's so good. So excited. I'm not going to be very particular about getting this matched up because they I'll end up just having to readjust it when I pick it back up to actually sew it. That feels like there's a pin there that I missed. Yep. Stabbing me in the thigh. All right. Netting, lining, interfacing, exterior. Da, da, da. Da, 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 da. That's better. Okay. Oh, on Monday too. We ended up going to spin. We've got a local studio that's really good. We've gone and like done our spin there for years now. It's actually who helped me get into my best shape I've ever been in previously. And so I need to return and actually do spin classes with them because it'll help my cardio a lot and my strength as well for running, obviously. Because my PB actually came off a month of, they typically have a May challenge. And so it's like 30 classes in 30 days in May sort of thing. And you can double up. So you can do like a spin class and a yoga class or whatever. Anyway, my last PB came at the end of that after a show in Edmonton, Catfest. And on top of it, it was also, whatchamacallit. Then I actually went and did yoga right afterwards at the same studio. Anyway, they helped me keep healthy through my pregnancy and all of that too. And I'm very grateful for them. But I am also very glad to be back, at least occasionally. And so one of the teachers, usually it's a team teacher, usually it's 2 teachers, and they do a stampede ride. But this year there's just one of them. But it was still so good. Dallas regretted it after his half marathon because he pushed pretty hard to get that PB and such. So his knee was pretty upset with him. But I felt really good. So that's also a very nice indication that my body will be ready for the half marathon when I go do it. That is twisted. Okay. There we go. Now it's not twisted. So I'm going to just pin it back down. I think spin is one of my favorite exercises though. Also always do better with classes because it's like someone's expecting you to go, so you better show up. Unless you have a very good reason. So obviously I'm not going to go if I'm sick. Or like if I'm home by myself and the kids are sick or something like that, I'm not going to go. It's very likely that I am sick then as well. So, knock on wood though, my youngest and I both dodged the stomach bug my youngest had, or my eldest had. So that is good because of all the things I dislike, throwing up is my number one least desired stuff. Okay. This one's oh yeah. Sweet. That needs to be restitched down because it's way too didn't catch the zipper enough. It's closed, but it didn't catch the zipper enough. But that came together so nicely. So that's that bubble pink bubble gum pink zipper I was talking about with the purple webbing. Just, oh, so good. Okay, let's get this turned back around and stitched again because I just, it's caught, but there's not a lot of zipper underneath the actual stitching that's been caught. So let's do it again. Better safe than sorry. The top stitching will help as well because it adds like another layer of strength. But yeah, that's better. So this is part of the whole process is making, like, as I'm going, is quality control inspecting the bags as I go, fixing stuff like that if I find it. Hopefully I catch it before the bag is finished. Lots of time I don't. That's why it ends up in timeout. I just realized we also I need to wind that bobbin. Yeah, that's better. So I just caught the zipper a little bit more so that there's more zipper in there to be more stable as well. You are not actually twisted, are you? No, you are not. You're just acting like you are. Lovely. Okay. Well, good. I don't know why I didn't prep the other stuff like I did for the rest of them, but it's still here. Right. So all the zippers are in for the one, well, the webbing and zippers are in for one side. Just going through and pinning all the second webbings to the other side of the bag so that I can just go through and chain piece it all, because the first set of zippers actually only took about half an hour to sew in. And I was saying that I would probably change all or do this setup and then go for a break. But I think at this point I'll pin the rest, sew the second side of the zipper, and then go for a break. I definitely need a coffee and a snack. Then I'll come back and we will actually top stitch everything, because that's the next step after what I'm doing right now. That does not look correct, but I think it is. Sorry, I'm getting all sorts of text notifications, but I just noticed my husband was texting me, so yay. So what I do on the exteriors here, so the first one's the most fiddly because it's got to be measured in from the exterior. That's how I do my webbing. But the second ones are actually a little bit easier because all I have to do is just make sure that the amount above my zipper coil is the same as what it was on the other one. And then they're squared up together, because then if there's been any shifting when I've sewn the other webbing, because sometimes there is, if they're squared up. And so the bag is the same. So not every big bag's handles may be installed exactly the same, but at least between, like, amongst the big bags, individually, they're all the same. There we go. Oh my goodness, this color combo. I think I've got about 10 more to pin. Well, no, actually I'm down under 10 at this point because I've definitely pinned more than 7. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, just under 10. Sweet. Good guess, Katie. Okay. Lots of sassy cats, because sassy cats are awesome. And then like that. Just double check to make sure that the zipper's installed well. Yep, we're good. This is also this new webbing, which is actually quite a bit nicer than the old webbing in some ways. It's a little bit fine. It's not as gritty, I guess might be the best description. So I think once I need to actually replace all my other webbing, I will be going either with this, or I might actually end up switching over to seatbelt webbing if I can find a supplier that has lots of colors. And I just got a suggestion for one yesterday, so I'm going to look into them next time before I have to buy a bunch of webbing again. All right, so that looks like that goes that way. And we're going to line this up like this down here. There we go. Now all this excess that's up above the zipper and stuff like that will actually get trimmed off when I go through after top stitching. Typically, I will trim it off once we've flipped it back around and we see how much is actually in excess. And sometimes I don't. Sometimes I leave it because it gets trapped nicely, and realistically, extra fabric is going to actually help the bag typically. Your seams won't rip as quickly. So at least that's the theory I have. It's got more fabric to go through, so the seams don't rip out as fast. Not that these seams rip very often. My bags are, so far I've had one bag that I use consistently for probably since I started using Japanese fabrics, which has been a long time. It's also sewn on my domestic, so I don't know how it's holding up so well, but it is. Bent pin, bye pin. This is the sort of pin that I end up using in my webbing typically to hold it actually on the shelf. Okay. And then I'm going to lay. So this one, cats only go one direction. Okay, that makes life easy. This one's going to have one of the cats pretty much centered right in the middle of the bag, which is going to be amazing. I don't typically I don't fussy cut for that sort of thing on this size of bags. I have been fussy cutting for bags like or not bags, but the like eyeglass case, or the glasses cases and stuff like that. I'll fussy cut a little bit more just to make sure that like you're not ending up with one part of a sexy chicken leg and not a cat or something like that. This one needs another stitch because that's just barely cut the zipper. Back through the machine with you. So obviously there's like, I will definitely sew webbing in and then have to do this sort of work just because it's like, you want to make sure that the bag is going to last as long as possible. Yeah. Okay, I gotta still wind the bobbin. Remind me. Showed it at me even though you're not watching live right now. If you're watching this in the future. All right. This is going to be the sassy cat with the ribbons. Okay. Wind the bobbin. All right. And is that the correct direction for the tone on tone? It is. So it's hard to see sometimes because it's like, yeah, it just is. Because so it's tone on tone. So it's white on white. And unless you're looking at it in the right light, it can be almost impossible to see sometimes. All right. Tune into this like that. Keep the scruff of the fabric up above like that. And one more shuffle. One more shuffle down. And just see. Yeah, okay. All right. Oh, we're going to pop this on here. Line it up. Measure. Matches. Square it up with that one to make sure that they're lined up. There we go. One pin. So this is actually one of the few things that I still use pins for because it would be pretty much impossible to actually do a clip on here that would hold anything in place for any kind of like significant amount of time or in a fashion that would actually work very well for this situation. I guess I could clip it to up here, but like the actual clip length wouldn't fit because of the interfacing, blah, blah, blah. Pins are just easier in this case. Although I do much prefer my clips when I can use them. So it's also better around the kids, I think. Better around the cats for sure. Because if you dump a bin of clips, they're much easier to pick up than a bin of pins. So, all right. So what one is upside on this? It's that one. What will be upside if I put this fabric like this? That one. So this one would be right side up. But this is such a big print. I think we're just going to match it. And so this will be the sides that are up. Yeah, I like that. This one really reminds me of Dahlia. All my black cat fabrics in the shop are called Sassy Cat fabrics because Dahlia is a small black cat. She's 9 pounds soaking wet, if you could get her wet. And so that's why if you go into the shop and you search for black cat, you won't get a lot of black cat fabrics. You will, however, get Sassy Cat fabrics. Okay. Cranes next. That means we're down to 8 bags to pin, and then whatever we're going to do next. I don't know if I will install zippers and then head for break, or if I'll head for break and then install zippers. I'm leaning towards the second, the latter. All right, you better not be twisted. You're not. Good. Okay, let's get its pieces together before I set it down. Where is your webbing? Why is it not here? That's for that one. Oh my goodness. Some of these must have slipped off the table when I was doing stuff or around. Nope, those are all matched up. So where did it go? Curses. Oh yeah, and I need to trim another piece of webbing for the... goodness. Or the Shiba Inu, which I thought I had done the other day, but apparently I have not. All right, well, here's some webbing down here. We'll use this piece. They probably slipped out in the bin because I was very kind of negligent about how I threw everything in the bin the other day. So like, I'm going to be organized. And then I just kind of chucked it in the bin, which was a dumb idea. Although so far the bin is working out far better than what any system I've had in the past, which is just kind of carrying stuff up and down stairs to work on it in other places, especially around the kids. But I'm able to right now, throw it in and out of the bin, and it's just right there. And all the bags that I haven't finished will be there afterwards as well, which is super exciting. It can just stay a perennial work in progress bin, and I'm just able to pull out of it as I need. All right, you have had need a shearing. There we go. Had a run in with a pole. This is part of why I also make sure that everything is a certain length above the zippers, that then if there's any catches or anything like that, it's not instantly unraveling into the actual like usable part of the webbing. Now these will be singed on the ends so that we don't have to worry about it continuing to unravel. But yeah, I should actually get a hot knife to cut this webbing because that would make sense. Okay, that actually looks like it worked well. Scoot. Perfect. Yeah, I think I'm going to finish pinning. Then I'm going to go have a snack, and then I'll come back to live again. And we will continue on this madness. So what is that, like 7 bags left? Now this one doesn't really have a direction, but it feels like it has a directional print. I think it's because those yellow big flowers in the back are mostly one direction. So I'm going to go with it this way. Because that feels natural somehow. I don't know. That bag is absolutely spectacular, though. I'm so excited to see it finished. All right, this is the teal fans. And I'm also going to actually oil my chair because it's been driving me nuts. And I just always forget about it. And then I start recording. And I'm like, oh, the chair. The chair is so noisy. If you can't hear it, awesome. I can hear it, though. So I'm going to oil it anyway. Doesn't matter. It's going to happen. All right. How are you doing? You're good. All the way across. You're good. Right? You're good. Okay. Oh, there's a pin in there still. That pin. Go. Ready for the other side. This is a really nice fan pattern with this like deep dark teal, which is gorgeous. And then I picked up the pink in the flowers with the zipper. So it's coming together very nicely. And the fans and the flowers all kind of have a gold highlight to it, which like, I don't know how they do it, but the gold highlight in Japanese fabrics is just like perfection. So good. I also really like this glitter that they add on to some of their fabrics because for some reason it doesn't seem like it washes off very easily, which is amazing because like obviously I launder all of my fabrics before I make bags out of them. It helps remove like processing chemicals, dust, grossness just in general from warehousing. And then it also allows it like if it bleeds, it bleeds, not a big deal. Because I wash like fabrics with like fabrics. Or like colors with like colors. And then part of it is also then it's all the exteriors. I don't wash the interiors because I don't want to deal with 15 meters of wide quilt back. So like half of it gets done. But partly it's also for shrinkage as well. So you can throw all these in the washing machine and it's like I wash the exteriors on hot. I suggest that you wash the bags on cool and then air dry because that is less of a beating than what I've already given it, which means that your bag shouldn't shrink or like lose its shape if you have to wash it in the washing machine. And I do suggest air drying all the bags because that means that the interfacing won't end up being like all crumply and messed up. But basically, so what you do is you machine wash it cool, then you take it out and you can also give it a little bit of a reshape, which helps keep the corners nice and sharp on your box bags and wedge bags. So basically what I suggest is you machine wash it cool, let it go through the whole cycle. It doesn't need to be delicate or anything like that. It just needs to be cool water. And then you can take it out and stick your hands in it and just basically pop the corners out. And that'll help it keep its shape a little bit better than just popping it on the rack. If you pop it on the rack, it'll be fine, but it will help a little bit. Yeah, so good. So good. All right, I need to prep the interior of this. Haha. All right. And so, like, if you're buying light fabrics, don't worry too much about it because you'll be able to actually like wash the bag without much concern. I've dropped pizza sauce on a pastel bag from Japan that I've made from Japanese fabrics. I guess it's a better description. And it's been perfectly fine. It's actually incredible how much of a beating that bag has taken, and it still looks new. Again, this is the one that I've had for years. Sewn on the domestic machine. Basically, when I first started using Japanese fabrics, I could not resist the fabric. Man, I wish I had been able to go to Japan and buy more of it at the time. It was so cute. It was called Candy Cats. It is called Candy Cats. And it's like carnival straight fabric. It's like pastel pinks and purples. And it's just friggin' adorable. I was so proud of those bags. It's a very directional, like straight print. And so I was actually able to do a very directional straight bag that time. Just fantastic. All right, I think we're down to 1, 2. I think there's 3 or 4 more after this, and then I'm gonna go get a snack. I'll end this stream, go get a snack and a drink, and then I'll be back to actually do the sewing on the other side of the zipper and start work on top stitching as well. The second stream will probably be a little bit shorter just because I'll have to cut short to go get kiddos from childcare. But I'll be here working away because otherwise I won't have any of this ready for Saturday. At this point, I may only have a part of this finished for Saturday. Who knows? All right, there is that one right in the middle. So we're going to flip it so that stretchy cats are upright on this one. I think that just feels weird, but it'll look good with the other one. So with this one, there's going to be like a sitting cat right in the middle. That's almost like perfectly in the middle, and then the stretchy cats. So it'll be flipped on the other side, just so both, just because, really, because that's what I want to do. All right, which one's next? Sheep. Yeah, I got 4 more bags. All right. So obviously, pinning in the first webbing is a little bit more fiddly because I measure in on every single piece, and now basically I'm just squaring up the second piece of webbing with that initially installed piece of webbing. Then I'm double checking to make sure that all the seams are finished. There's no holes around the webbing. There's no holes across, and that the zipper is actually caught decently well in this seam, which this one looks like it is. So we're good to go for the next step. And we're going to take the lining and the interfacing, line them up. And this is tone on tone, so we'll make sure that the tone on tone is actually facing into the bag. And that the interfacing and the lining is lined up. And then the original piece comes in, clumped down, shimmied around so that we can match everything up. And then the next piece of webbing gets put in. Just here, square it up with the actual webbing at the top of the bag, measure it out so that it's the same length, and then pin it in. Do much prefer using clips, but there's practically no way to use clips for this step for these bags. Hello, pin. Did not want to be used, apparently. All right, there we go. Make sure that the handle's not twisted before we put it in. Definitely sew in bags. Actually, the worst one is I have a bag that I still need to clip the rivets on because I installed the leather twisted. And of course, I didn't notice it until I was at Knit City or just before Knit City. And I just, it went into timeout because there's no way that I'd be able to actually fix that. Or I didn't take the time to do it. Probably won't take me that long. It's just the mental capacity to actually think about doing it some days is a bit more than I have right now. Okay, so that's another sheep bag. We're almost there. I'm actually quite pleased with how quickly this has come together today. Yep, 3 more bags. So we got pink bunnies. And then we've got pink bunnies, Sassy Cat amongst Wisteria on red, and then Maiko and Kyoto on black. And then snack time. Am I obviously thinking about food? I am most definitely thinking about food. The question always is now, what do I have for a snack? Which I think I feel like an apple. I feel like that would be a good decision today. Fruit's really good, but with diabetes, I've been struggling with my sugars for the past year, just with weight gain and medication changes and not exercising enough because of kiddos and being sick and all of that. But I'm finally getting it sorted, and so one of the things I can start doing is eating more fruit, which like apples. I missed apples quite a bit actually. Probably I'll go up and I will have an apple, and I will have some water, and I will have a cheese string because protein. And cheese strings are delicious. Mostly because I like cheese strings. I don't know what it is that they taste so much better than just cutting cheese off the fork. And they're super convenient to pack for the kids for school. So, well, my eldest. My youngest is in a day home, and they provide food for the youngest. So that's nice. School doesn't provide it for my eldest. Makes sense because it's kind of one of those situations of we don't half the kids won't eat what the other half will eat and all that. So it's just better to pack their own lunches, which is fair enough. All right, we're gonna twisty, make sure it's straight, good. Pop this down here. Like that. Pop this on here. I think that's pretty close to the right length even. There we go. All right. Yeah, and this stream is heading close to 2 hours, which is kind of where I want to keep them as it is, simply because that becomes way too unwieldy to actually edit afterwards if I need to. Saturdays is going to be fun because I'm going to have to download it and actually edit it. instead of trimming it up and doing all the edits in the YouTube studio. So that's fine. All right, 2 more bags, and then pull the pins. Whew. I'm going to just cut the bag. Pin. I don't know why I didn't prep the other side yet, but I haven't, so we'll do that now. Oh, we are being done. All right. And then we'll do a race when I get back, and we'll see how far I get before I need to head out for kiddos, I guess. Well, this has come together a lot better. Now, obviously, this is not all the bags that I cut. Like I said, I don't know what happened to the pink citrus. Like, I know I paired that up with yellow webbing and a yellow zipper, so I'm wondering if it's actually still in the studio. But I'm like, where did it go? I really do want it done, so I'll have a quick look for it while I'm off getting the snack and everything like that too, just to see where I missed it. And for some reason I don't have the webbing for, oh, there it is. I'll add that to pin right now. I have to pin the Shiba Inu bag as well, because it's like it's already got its bottom sewn together and like the zipper installed on one side. It's literally just waiting for the webbing on the other side and the finishing. So I'll add that to the pile, because having a partially finished bag makes it much quicker than having a non-finished bag. Easy stock. I like having easy stock. All right, go. The Sassy Cat. I don't know what is like this red with this wisteria is amazing. I don't know why or how the red and purple work together, but they do. And then the Sassy Cat on like the red, because I've had Sassy Cat amongst roses on red before, and it was, oh my goodness. But like, look at this. It's so good. And then like these are all kind of shimmery, and there's shimmer on the wisteria, and I'm just, ugh. It's so good. So good. All right. Pair those up. Like I said, I'm not being too picky about this stuff because they're going up on the chair behind the laptop, and they're going to need to be like, what's the word? Like repositioned when I pull them off, because they are up there all kind of willy-nilly. All right, so this is the old style of how I used to do bags. As you can see, it's fairly unwieldy. It works. But so far am already like preferring the way that I'm doing them. So obviously I'm not going to undo the work that I've already done on this bag, but I am glad that I'm doing it the other way now. There we go. Yes. Haha. All right. Now that'll even out, hopefully, kind of. It's been stored for a year or two now, so the interfacing is a little bit upset about its storage facilities, apparently. There. Okay, now with this one, you actually do have to fold up the exterior to the interior, like that. And then you have to fold up interior to the exterior. Ugh, yeah, no, this other way is way better already. Like this, and then I have to square up the interfacing as well as best I can. That will get trimmed because that is way too much interfacing above. Okay, that's mostly lined up though. Yeah, there we go. All right, down here. The only nice thing about this one is you could line it up together to make sure that like the bottoms matched well, but whatever. Small sacrifice compared to the hassle that just was. Oh my goodness. I didn't realize how much of a hassle it was. Okay. Well, live and learn. I do learn some new tricks sometimes. All right. Let's pin it in. line up. Stabby stab the pin in all the way through. Stab, stab. Come on. Oh my goodness. There we go. Okay, good. And then rolly, rolly, turny, turny. Come in here. Like this. There we go. And we're going to line it up like that. And pin. Oh my goodness. Could use that. We were home late last night, and poor kids. My eldest woke up and they were not ready to be awake. My youngest, at least they're a morning person. But my eldest was just, they're not a morning person in general. And then we weren't into bed for them until like 10:30. They were at my in-laws while I was at the vet. And so of course they're not going to fall asleep because, well, my eldest had their iPad. And yeah, it just because that's easiest. But that means also that there's no sleeping until we got home. So tonight will be actually an interesting night, depending on how everything goes. Man, that is so much more of a mess than doing it the way I'm doing it now. Interesting. All right, last one. We got black. Michael and Kyoto on black, and then I'm going to go try and hunt down the citrus on pink. And the other brown handle for the cats are back in town on the rose. I don't know where it went. Also don't know why. Oh, right. I was short a few lines. That's why some of them missing as well. Whatever. It's chaos here. It's always chaos here. But we're going to pin this last one. And then I'm going to take a break. Then I will be back. Exterior. I'll line up the interfacing and the interior. Pin. Thank you. And then you go down like this. We'll line you up here like that. Now we're going to pick this up and line it up here like this. Success. Apple and cheese. It sounds like an amazing snack right now. I really like this fabric. I love how vibrant it is. I love it again. Like, it's one of those fabrics where there's multiple colorways, and every single one of them is so good because like it makes different things in the pattern pop. And so like the black obviously is very, very much makes everything just pop. But like the bright blue's been really fun. The white is very different. The red is very vibrant. It's a really interesting red. And then of course they changed the colors on the fabric to complement the background colors as well, obviously, because like what works on the black isn't necessarily going to work on the red or the white or whatever other color that there is. So it's always fun to see the differences. All right, last pin in. If you've enjoyed watching later on, please give the video a like or share with a friend that you think might enjoy, or subscribe to my channel. I am trying to get on every evening, most weeks. And then I scheduled stream a couple of weeks when my husband is home to take care of kiddos. And then like the evening ones are impromptu. So I hope you all enjoyed, and I will be back in about 2:30 to get a bit more of this work done. I'll chat with you soon. Bye.